Welcome to Math with Father. Welcome to Math with Father. Subscribe, like and share.
In today's video, we are going to talk about equations pertaining indices. And there are equations which have variables or unknown quantity as an index. Example, b to the power x equals b to the power y. So this equation has index or powers as an unknown variable, and these are called the exponentials or exponential equation. So we have three basic types. So now let's begin with the linear equation. So every linear equation is of the form. Now the highest index or power of every linear equation is 1. So with this, we are going to come out with an index form, something of this sort. B to the power x equals b to the power y. Index equation, we have b as our base. We have b as our base. And then it states that if the bases are the same, the powers are equated. So we have b, we have another b. So we have b, which is also similar or the same thing as this b. So if they are the same, we equate the powers. Now we have x equals y, and this is a linear equation. So we are going to resolve some questions in this form, or we are going to look at questions in this form. Okay, so if 3 to the power x is equal to 3 to the power 2, here we are to find x. So this is an equation, and where is this equation leading us? Now with the linear, it says if the bases are the same, the powers are equated. So we have x equals 2, and this gives us our value for x. Now take a book and then try to find the value of x in 30 seconds. Guess what? I know 90% of the class was able to do this. Now, similar to what we just did, so we have 4 as our base, we have another 4 as our base, and since they are the same, the powers are equated. So we have x equals -3, and this is our value of x. Now we are going to look at some illustrative examples. Okay, all right, so now let's solve for the value of x from these following equations. Looking at our first equation, which is 3 to the power x equals 9. 3 to the power x equals 9. So with this case, we are going to change the expression to suit. We are going to change the expression to suit one certain base, and the smaller value here is 3. So we are going to change this value 9 into an index form that has 3 as its base. Now we have 3x equals 9 could or can be written as 3 to the power 2. So this is the simplified form or the index form of this. And now since the bases are the same, the exponents are equated, and our value x is 2. Our value x is now 2. So this is from the first one. So we have x to be 2. Let's move on to the second one, which is 9 to the power 4x equals 81. 9 to the power 4x equals 81. So looking at this equation, the smaller base that we have here is 9, and 81 could also be changed to the same base. So the simplified form of this equation, 9 raised to the power 4x equals, so we are changing 81 to suit this base, and what number to a power gives us 89? So we should change it to, so 9 raised to the power 2 also gives 89, and from the condition that if the bases are the same, the exponents are equated. So we have 4x is equal to 2. Now we want the value of x. So what do? We multiply both sides by the inverse of 4, which is 1 on 4, the multiplicative inverse. Now 4 into itself, 4 into itself, 4 into itself 1, 2 into itself 1, 2 into 4 2, and then our value x is equal to 1. 1 times 1 is giving us 1, all on 2. Now this is our value of x from this equation. Let's move on to the next question. So we have 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals 1 on 64. So how do we find the unknown, which is x? 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals 1 on 64. So let's solve this. Now the smaller, so this is also an index form, and we have to also change this to an index form to have a base of 4. Now we have 4 to the power negative 3x equals, so this, if you would remember from the properties, this is a negative index. So it says for the negative index, 1 on a is written as a to the power negative 1. So we're also going to write this fraction to this linear form, so to carry an index or a power. So this is also written as 64 raised to the power negative 1. Now 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals, now we change 64 to a base of 4, and then we have 4 raised to the power 3 gives us 64 multiplied by this index or power negative 1. Now 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals 4 raised to the power, so we have 3 multiplying negative 1, which yields negative 3. 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals 4 raised to the power negative 3. So let's go back and check. 4 raised to the power negative 3x equals 4 raised to the power negative 3. Okay. Now our bases are the same. So from this point, we have 4 as our base, we have 4 as our base. And the condition says if the bases are the same, the powers are equated. Negative 3x equals negative 3. And finding the value of x, negative 3, negative 3. And then x gives us 1. So 1 is our value of x. And this is the solution set for the third question, for this question, for this question. So we started here, and then arrived at this point. So we are moving on to the fourth question, so which is 2 raised to the power square root of x equals 8x. 2 raised to the power root x equals 8x. So we are going to simplify this equation to have the same base. To resolve, we are going to resolve this to similar base. Now we have 2 raised to the power root x equals, so the smaller number here is 2, meaning we have to change 8 to also get a base or 2 as its base. And we have 2 raised to the power 3, which is 8, multiplying the power x. And the condition states that if the base, so we have 2 as a base, we have another 2, then we equate the powers, which is root x equals 3x, multiplying 3 by x. That is the third law, the power law. Now square root of x is equal to 3x, and if you would remember from the fractional index that square root means half, so we have square root of x is the same thing as x to the power half. So at this point, I'm going to get rid of the root. I have x raised to the power 1 on 2 is equal to 3x. So to find the value of x, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to neutralize this part, which is half. So to neutralize this, I have to multiply the power by 2. So by 2, and then I do same here. This is also multiplied or raised to the power 2. So we have 2, getting rid of 2, and we have x. So we have x raised to the power 1, which is the same thing as x, equals, we have 2 multiplying 3 giving us 9, and then we have 2 also multiplying x raised giving us x squared. So we have x equals 9x squared. So this is leading us to a quadratic equation, meaning we're getting 2x values. Let's proceed. Now we have x minus equals 9x squared. So let's go back and then validate. X equals 9x squared. X equals 9x squared. Thank you. So how do we find the value of x? 9. So here I'm taking this x to the other side. I have 9x squared minus x equals 0. And resolving this, we have a common thing. X, we have x. So x could be factored out or can be factored out. And what we have inside, we have 9x minus 1 is equal to 0. So we have x equals to 0 as one of the answers. X equals 0. And we also have 9x minus 1 equals to 0. So 9x minus 1 equals to 0. Now let's find x. 9x is equal to, this one is taken to this side. And if a negative number crosses an equal sign, it changes to be positive. So we have plus 1. 9x equals to 1. And we try to make x the subject. We have divided by 9, divided by 9. And our variable x gives us 1 on 9. So these are the two x values. So therefore, x is equal to 0 or 1 on 9. So x is equal to 0 or 1 on 9. So these are the two x values from this equation. These are the two x values from this equation. From this equation. So we are moving on to the last question, which is 125 raised to the power x minus 3 equals the square root of 5 raised to the power 4x minus 7. We are going to find the value x. 125 raised to the power x minus 3 equals all under square root 5 raised to the power 4 x minus 3. So let's start. So with what we have over here, we are going to resolve this into the smaller or the smallest base, and we have 5 as a base, we have 125 as a base. So comparing these two bases, the 5 is the smallest or the smaller base, meaning we have to change 125 to a base of 5. 125 x minus 3 equals all under square root. So 125, which is 125 is equal to 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 gives us 25, and then 25 times 5 gives us 125. So how many of the 5s? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 of the 5. So 1 is taken, and the number of times is written on top, which is 3 times. Multiplying x minus 3 equals the square root of 5 raised to the power 4x minus 3. Alright, so we have the same expression or the same equation. The 3 is multiplied from the expression, or is multiplied with the expression inside the bracket. So we have 3 multiplying x, then we have 3x, we have 3 also multiplying negative 3, it gives us negative 9, equals, now we also know that square root means to the power half. So we are going to express this root or this symbol or this sign into this form. We have 5 to the power 4 x minus 3. So all raised to the power half. Now 5 is equal to 5. We have 4x by 4x times 1 on 2 minus 3 times 1 on 2. So the 1 on 2 is the power. So this by this by this. So which is done nicely over here. Now we have 5 to the power 3x minus 9 equals 5 raised to the power. So here we have a common thing to cancel out. 2 into itself 1, 2 into 4 2. Now we have 2 multiplying x, which yields 2x minus, so 3 times half gives us 3 on 2. And since the bases from this equation are the same, their exponents or index or power is equated. So we have 3x minus 9, 3x minus 9 equals 2x minus 3 on 2. 2x minus 3 on 2. So at this point, we group, or we are going to group like terms. So in grouping like terms, we have 3x. We also have another x, which is 2x. So we have to now send it to this side, and then crossing the equal sign, change this to negative 2x equals negative 3 on 2. The 9 is also negative 9 is taken to this side. We have 9. Now 3x minus 2x is given as x equals, we have a fraction which is negative 3 on 2 plus 9. Any whole number is divided by 1. So this is also the fraction form of this. Now we find the LCM to our fraction, and the LCM is 2. So 2 into itself 1 times negative 3, 2, 1 into 2, 2 by 9, which gives us 18. And then our result is 15 on 2. So we have x to be 15 on 2. So this is also our value of x from. So if this video was very helpful, please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and post me on post notification
Subscribe, like
anytime
and
I drop
share.
new videos. Thank you for your time. I'm out.